You all right, John? You okay? Yeah. All right, cool, man. So, thank you guys for joining me. This is going to be a quick little speech tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about self-care and kind of how the nutritional aspect of that plays into it. I know you guys are like looking at me, you're like, hey man, we're about to get this nutritional information from a fat guy. But trust me, man, I wasn't always fat. All right, so you can have faith in that. The information is good anyway, right? Because we all want to feel better. We all want to have a little bit more energy. We want to have a little bit more mental acuity, and we want that that balanced piece to us, right? And it's just a good essential part of that overall theme of self-care. So we're just going to talk about 3 different basic aspects to nutrition. The macronutrients. Macronutrients being protein, carbohydrates, and fats, and kind of what they do. The first one that we'll talk about is protein, since I was in the list first. Protein is typically from meat products. There are some nuts that have complete protein, some beans that have complete proteins. There's some plant proteins. They're usually not complete. You got to mix them with something else, like quinoa and like a certain type of plant protein will make a complete protein, right? Protein is essentially like your repair material, your building blocks. You need a little bit of protein in order for the breakdown of your cells and things like that to occur. Like if you're lifting weights and you have that muscle tissue breakdown, etc., you're going to want to put some protein in you to rebuild that back up, and also through your day-to-day activities. Protein can also be utilized as energy, but it's not an efficient energy source for your body to use. So it does not typically dip into your protein stores for energy in situations where you don't want to be, right? If you're not taking care of your nutritional needs, maybe you're not getting enough food, you have protein deficiency for whatever reason, you're a vegetarian and you're not getting the appropriate amounts, then you might have some protein issues. So you want to get a certain amount of protein in. That's typically going to be, and rather than using a bunch of numbers, I'm just going to give you guys hand portions, right? So typically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have a piece of protein the size of the palm of your hand. So if you took, like, for example, a steak, right, and you cut that up to the size of the palm of your hand, that's going to be what you're going to typically want for your protein base in your meal, right? The next piece is carbohydrates. That's going to be your body's preferred energy source. That's the most readily available energy source your body can get. Your brain relies on glucose. What happens is your body, you intake the carbohydrates, your body turns that into glucose, and then it starts supplying energy to your body through your cells and to your brain. Your brain uses a tremendous amount of glucose, and carbohydrates are a very, very easy way for your body to convert that into glucose. Some of the things we eat are dang near pure glucose or sucralose. You don't want to eat those. You want to stay away from them because those cause insulin spikes and can lead to diabetes and things like that. So you want to try to stick with whole foods, whole grains, potatoes, things of this nature. You want to try to stay away from enriched stuff, pastries, etc., in limited quantities to try to avoid those energy crashes. So again, the same thing as it was with the protein, you're going to want that to be, so if it's like rice, you're going to want it to be about the size of your fist, potato portion about the size of your fist. So we're looking at protein, size of your palm of your hand, rice portion about the size of your fist. Your next nutrient after that is your fats. Your fats are nuts, your butters, things like this. There's one type of fat that you want to stay away from. It's called trans fat. It's hydrogenated fat. Your body has no means of processing that. The way your body utilizes fats is it utilizes it as a backup energy store. So your body will either take that and use it to replace reserve energy stores, aka fat, or it will also turn it into energy, or it is also used for harmonious hormone production. Your fat intake, you're going to want it to be about the size of your finger. So a good example of that, if you're going to have, say, a salad, it would be, say, some chicken cut up the size of your hand, enough lettuce and vegetables about the size of your fist spread out onto the bowl, and then perhaps some type of oil about the size of your finger. So maybe a couple of teaspoons, right? And so what we're looking at here is the means to gain a balanced and nutritious diet, to have all your basic nutrients covered with really simple arithmetic, just by measuring it with your hand and your fingers to help keep you with a balanced diet, to continue to have proper function, to have proper mental acuity, and to just keep yourself general in a state of well-being. So to recap that, right? So we're looking at improved energy, improved mental acuity, even improved mood, improved hormone production. One essential part of your self-care, something that people in our situation, coming from where we do, we're going to want to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. You know, coming being addicts, we don't take that great a care of ourselves. So once again, the three macronutrients: proteins, carbohydrates, fats. Proteins are the builders, carbohydrates are the energy source, and fats are the energy reserves, and can also be used as energy as well in times of lean carbohydrates or even lean other nutrients. I want to thank you guys for listening to me, and that concludes our little talk about nutrients.